Today I've decided to do a corps level action. Each side of the table will have two divisions, pretty much evenly matched in some respects. The Germans are going to have a Volksgrenadier Division right here. And then on to their right, which we'll show in a minute, they're going to have a Panzer Division. The Americans, opposite the Volksgrenadier Division, will have a slightly reduced strength American Armored Division, Light Division, and they'll have a British Infantry Division to their left, and we'll have videos of all of that in just a moment. I used a little bit of a D10 and D6 mechanism to do some random setups. I was able to roll the D6s to tell me how many squares in, and then a D5 from the D10 to tell me how many zones in. This way I have a totally random game, and actually it worked out pretty darn well. As I laid out the troops, then I allowed the division commanders to decide where their special troops would go. Enough of that anyway. So the Volksgrenadiers wound up having one battalion well forward on this hill here, which I believe you can see. They have another battalion dug in here, and finally one dug in just a little south, if you will, of the main town here. Maybe they're marching there or not, but at the moment I've given them all prepared positions as well. The Germans have an anti-tank Marder battalion over here, self-propelled anti-tank battalion, sitting over here along the hedge line here, not hedgerows, hedge line. And then they have their division level artillery. Here's the headquarters unit, division headquarters unit, and they also have a engineer battalion attached to them as well. When I was setting them up, I rolled for every battalion in this division, and every roll of a 1, 2, or 3 indicated that a battalion had not arrived or was doing duty elsewhere as an attachment someplace else. So here are the 3 battalions right here. So, the terrain was randomly set up as well. I've got a road, a shallow river along here, and that is the German deployment. What we have here now is the American Light Armored Division. Again, I diced for them to see where they'd be locating, where they'd be arriving, and an attacking force usually comes in on the first zone right along here. So again, I diced for regimental sized units, and it worked out quite well. Starting on the far right, we have a combat command with a battalion of Sherman tanks and a battalion of armored infantry, and they're starting on the road coming through this wooded area like this. In the center, we have a full regiment of infantry, which should be 3 battalions, and we have attached to them the tank destroyers. In the middle here, the division commander is set up with his self-propelled artillery, and he also diced for his corps artillery for the start of the battle, and he has available to him 1 artillery battery for this particular off-board artillery, corps artillery, for this particular action. Off to the left, he decided to place his recon unit, which he had the choice to do, and he's attached that at the moment to his other Combat Command B, which is another Sherman, another half-track battalion each. Combat Command R does not appear to be here right now. They've probably been detached as well. So again, this is the American division deploying, again, randomly, and I was very happy with how that worked out. Okay, we're now looking at the British Infantry Division. They have set up, again, randomly, as I said, for the other 2 divisions, and it worked out quite well. They have deployed 2 reduced strength regiments well forward, almost all the way up to the German assault line. There's only 1 zone in between the 2. You can see them here. There's 2 battalions in this zone, 2 battalions in this zone, and the little markers here indicate that they have been dug into prepared positions. Again, when I say dug in, I don't mean the usual foxholes and local terrain. It's more like they've had engineers come in and there are pillboxes and more serious defenses right there. They also have their 3rd regiment well back here along the main road in prepared positions. Headquarters is back here, division headquarters with the division artillery right here, and they have an engineer unit dug in prepared positions just north of the town right here. To the right, near the main road over here, is their armor. They have a tank destroyer battalion, probably Achilles for British, I think. Don't quote me on that, folks. And a Sherman battalion right here. And finally, they have a recon battalion over here at the crossroads. By placing the recon here, it allows them to see two zones and into the other division line. If you probably can't see it in this video, but over here where my hand is making movement is where the American Combat Command B was coming in right here. And since the division boundary line is here, both the British and the Americans can operate in these two rows of zones, so they can help each other a little bit. The British were very lucky. They diced and received 3 heavy artillery batteries from Corps for the battle. And just like with the German Volksgrenadier Division, I had to roll on a D10 for every battalion in the force of the British to see how many stragglers or units were not available for this particular action at the moment. And they came up with also, just like the Volksgrenadiers, they were shy 3 battalions. So they're down by three battalions right now. Finally, here's the German Tank Division. I find at this level of play for D-Day to Berlin how amazingly thin the German divisions were in strength-wise. As I look over this German tank division, it's very thin. There's almost nothing to it. So once again, as I've said before, I used random die rolls to determine which regiments, as I call them, would start along the base hedge here, and it worked out quite well. On the far right, we have Panzer IV Battalion, along with the Armored Infantry Battalion, of which there's only 1 in their division, and a Motorized Infantry Battalion. Then to the far left, almost by the main road and the bridge that they're going to have to cross, is the Panther Heavy Tank Battalion and 2 motorized battalions. In the middle zone right here is our division commander, and as you'll see in a minute, the division's artillery has not shown up yet. As with the defenders, I make a die roll for all the attacking battalions, and on the roll of a 1, that battalion is not available for the start of the action. I did not have any 1s rolled up when I did the American division, but with the German division, I had to sacrifice 2 battalions, so I decided their recon was not here, and their self-propelled Vespa artillery was not here yet. These will be available to come in as reinforcements as the game goes on. The German tank division was extremely fortunate that he rolled for 3 additional artillery batteries from Corps. So that helps make up the fact that at the moment his organic self-propelled artillery is not here on the game table. You'll also see the Mighty F right here, as in all of my Day of Battle games, Light Bobs, and D-Day to Berlin. I use a random turn sequence to decide who moves first each game turn. We dice for it. The British actually won first move choice, and they decided to make the Germans move first to make them have a better chance of understanding what the Germans were going to do. Last of all, the Germans do have some core assets, and these will be available to come in during the ongoing battle as well, randomly. We have a Corps command stand right here, which is mainly just for looks. The Corps is still well off the board. But we have 2 Tiger Tank battalions. I like to see how these guys work. We also have a self-propelled anti-tank gun battalion of Sturmgeschütz or whatnot. And we have an armored infantry battalion as well. Now, these core assets can be divvied out as they arrive to either of the 2 divisions, and I will do that randomly. But if you were in a playing game, again, the players could decide which divisions these reinforcements would show up and be attached to. We don't usually use truck models in the game because in most cases the division is either quote-unquote motorized or not. For example, the British Rifle Division is considered motorized, so every battalion has organic trucks available to them, so there's no need to put them on the table. What I like to do in the German tank battalions is they have a lot of motorized infantry. What I do is I base them all up with a truck model as well. The truck model isn't there for being destroyed. It just reminds me that they can usually move faster than straight leg infantry. So I hope you've enjoyed this setup, and now I'm going to get down to playing it, and the Germans have first move.